Kia ora, good afternoon and welcome. We're back at Waikato Stadium as we continue the Ruben Wiki Cup here, brought to you by New Zealand Rugby League and of course Sky Sport. Great to have you along. Good day, it's been 10 a.m. beside me, Wairangi Kōpū. Well, I hope you've been enjoying the action here from our under-20s competition. Today we have for you Waikato Mana up against the South Island. Conditions perfect for rugby league this afternoon. The track in great condition, and of course that's the Trust Arena that you have in the background there. We've just been treated to a neat game of footy as well, with the Central Vipers Wahine up against Akalana, won by the latter, and congratulations to them. Well, let's have a look at the lineup here for the South Island under the tutelage today of Archie Jacobs. Keep an eye out there for Ethan Faitaua. Ethan is their skipper today out of the Scorpions system and has been playing for the Linwood Kiers, but also played in the New Zealand schools team a couple of years ago. He's pretty talented. And also Callum Donaldson comes in with a big reputation as well. Looking forward to these young guys going about here in West Auckland this afternoon. As such, let's hear from their coach, Archie Jacobs.
Archie, after defeat in round one, your team bounced back with a good win in round two. What pleased you most about that response last week?
Yeah, so we looked at that video from round one, figured out that there was quite a few things that we need to work on, and the most pleasing thing I think from last week's game is that all those things that we talked about we were able to fix, and we put on a really good performance.
We're at round 3 of 5, it's a short comp. What do you focus on most in between matches with the goal of playoff footy in mind?
So we're always talking about continuous improvement. So we always want to be better than the day before and last week. So that doesn't change this week. We're still working on how we can be better. We know we can be better, and so the way we focus on that is again identifying those things, those areas where it might be 1%ers, but that's probably going to be the difference.
With today's match in mind, what sort of threat do you see from the Waikato team?
Oh look, I think it's easy to fall into the trap around looking at scores and what's been happening, but really it's down to us and what we can do and what we can control, and so we know that we can control how we play, and so it's about making sure that we do the right things and also really putting pressure on ourselves.
Good luck.
Cool, thank you.
So that's Archie Jacobs. He's had a long involvement as well, Archie. Here's the Waikato squad. I'll leave you to introduce the boys here. You know a few of them quite well. They're playing for Tani Whanau as well. Wairangi Kōpū with us this afternoon. Why?
Yeah, tēnā koe Dale. Tēnā tātou katoa. Yeah, Waikato coming with a fairly good squad. They had a pretty hard loss in their first round. They had a bye last weekend, of course, but look out for the ones of like Te Ohomori Rapana, who's that fullback who just comes back into the fray of things, and also hit that Wairo, who is their captain today. Played 6 because he had to last time, but obviously he slots in at his preferred position at number 11, and their coach is Eugene Davis.
Eugene, you had the bye last week after a defeat in round 1. Has the week off been a help or a hindrance for your boys?
No, it's been a bit of a help because we've been able to be reflective of the game, obviously having access to the game, looking over at the game, and we've done a bit of critiquing of our first game and our previous last couple of weeks, so identifying the areas that we need to sort of work on, but having the boys actually indicate to us that they understand what that looks like, so making sure that we're intentional about doing that reflective stuff just to implement as our next game, which is always good. I always see previous games as good to work on for the next game, so yeah.
You've had a few chances to see the standard of footy this year. How confident are you that your new team can leave their mark on the comp?
Well, we didn't want to put our hands up this year for this campaign to sort of just come in as fill-ins. Definitely want to assert ourselves. So that's definitely still part of the plan. So the first game was a bit of a teething stages, but today we really want to sort of push forward to making our mark in that way. And so it is a high standard. And given last week's week off, we were able to have a look at the team and Southland are a good side. And so making sure that we attend to today's game in terms of what we identify in terms of Southland. So yeah.
Good stuff, mate.
And Eugene Davis, of course, has been a long time contributor to the Waikato Rugby League scene, helping at club level too at Tūranga Waiwai, but he's also been involved with the New Zealand residents and 18s, as has become familiar with our Waikato squads. We start with our haka, and that's always something that gets the blood stirring for our young men from the proud rugby league region of Waikato. Kainui, here is their haka.
Tau kātou. Usually the traditional haka for the Waikato rep teams.
Kia ora, nei rata mihi ka koutou katoa kia ora, and welcome to Sky Sports coverage here. It is the Ruben Wiki Cup, and we're looking forward to the action here today. Last time Waikato had a hit out a couple of weeks ago. They had the bye last week, as has been mentioned. They weren't as good as they would have hoped to have been, and were rolled fairly decisively from the upper central squad, who couldn't cut it yesterday when they came up against Counties Manukau. But what we will be expecting here, Waitangi, is an improved performance from Waikato. I think they would have learnt from that first outing that they've just got to be a bit more competitive and play some smarter footy.
Yes, indeed, and they're going to have to be, obviously, South Island coming off a big win last weekend against a team that did over Waikato in the first round. They play very upbeat. They've got a lot of enthusiasm, South Island. Containing them is going to be a big job for Waikato.
Well, the South Island boys are playing from right to left. A number of the players have come up from Dunedin where they're studying at Otago. So they met yesterday in Tautahi Christchurch, flew up this morning, and they know that they'll have to be on their game, although they would have been buoyed by that performance last week. Waikato standing alone in this competition, which is something I think we're going to be seeing more from the region in years to come. Obviously, they've been part of the Waikato Stallions for many years now, that combo between Coastlines, Bay of Plenty and Waikato, but the administration down in Waikato now believe that they have the teams to stand on their own. So we certainly wish Amele Lola Pe'alu hits the ball up to just over the halfway line. As you can see, wind not as much of a factor as it was yesterday afternoon. You can tell that by the flags on the side of the track there that aren't being hit by the sou'westers as they were yesterday. Great to have you along too, and isn't it wonderful to have some live rugby league here, our under-20s with a chance to shine and be on stage, national television, and we're looking forward to really uncovering some fine rugby league talent over the course of this next 68 or so minutes. 35-minute halves, what these squads are playing, and it will be South Island now out towards the 30-metre line. Just peeling what they've got a lot of unusual numbers in the squad here this afternoon. And, that's the winger at 18, Deidre Sharkey. Short side run, Oliver Laurie, and it's a nice little break for Laurie, an inside ball as well, looking pretty good straight off the bat, and towards the line goes a career number 20, but comes up just a little short, but still the damage has been done, and the South Island don't take long to score. It's through Oliver Lowry, and he started league just last year from St Bede's College, where he was playing first 15 rugby. He's now at St Thomas's and is running in the Hallsville Prems squad. So it didn't take very long for them to make their mark here, the boys from the south side.
Yeah, made a real similar break last week as well. Just an individual effort where he went through. He's very quick, Laurie. He's got good footwork, good swerve. That was a tackle that needed to be made, and it was done well by Boone Harris. But just numbers, Waikato couldn't get back on side in time, and Laurie, while he started, he was the one who finished it as well. So great start for the South Island off the back of their first possession game. So a little bit to work on, just one-on-one efforts for Waikato. So a couple of first up missed tackles, which are going to have to be rectified, because if you start missing a couple of tackles, especially down the edge, you know that the team is going to keep coming back down that way. They'll keep testing you out.
The conversion unsuccessful there from Mata Helbert Pere, playing his footy with the Rickerton Knights. And he's been in the mix for the last couple of seasons. As mentioned, Archie, who was coaching the South Island squad, is a long association with the systems in the South Island Scorpions in particular. And was an assistant coach for the New Zealand Māori squad with Ricky Henry back in the day as well. Archie, he's coaching his young fellas squads nowadays, but obviously still very keen to see more young talent developing. And if to Waipona now they have the ball and working it across field, Waikato will really need to shape up here on defence. He's just allowing too many opportunities. And once again, they were in trouble. And eventually the ball's popped back on the inside for Tani Whangupo. And Waikato boys survived that raid. And they'll get their first chance with some possession. Perhaps it'll build some confidence for them, because at the moment they've been backpedaling right from their get-go, 4 minutes into the game. They just haven't had any opportunities on attack.
Yes, indeed. And the platform was laid by South Island last week against Upper Central by their big boys. And a lot of advantage line running just in behind the markers and between the A's, and they did a really good job. This early on in this first game, they're already showing their intentions of spinning the ball wide, getting some one-on-one tackles and one-on-one misses. And
the platform was laid by the forwards, of course, and so they're going to be reliant on their big men. Portman Paul with that carry, and now the chip over the top from the standoff is heading towards touch right deep into the South Island half, where it's retrieved there by Kieran Hatch. And there's a knock-on, so Waikato will find themselves in good field position. Chance to have a tilt at the line. Kieran Hatch, originally from Auckland, a number of the players studying in Dunedin. He's doing his physiotherapy degree, the right wing for the South Island. But the scrum, as you can see, to be set 10 metres in and 10 metres out from the try line. Nice images of the creek that runs beside the stadium out here in Waitakere, as Waikato with a good opportunity to get the ball rolling and the scoreboard ticking along through Clark Rua. Now the fullback picks it up. Rapana almost away and backs himself over the line, but a wall of South Island defenders are there to halt his run. Would play the ball now and close to big men, but that was read pretty easily. Taylor Wright accounted for again by his opposite numbers. Make no mistake with him, Waikato looking to get a little bit of space. That ball's gone down and it's retrieved there by the fullback Rapana. Second rower, Lolo Pealu. A little bit predictable at the moment here for Waikato as they try the short side. It's a powerful run, but it comes up empty-handed for Tumatauinga Tekoi.
slightly forward, essentially, yep. That's Tumatauinga Tekoi out there in the left edge, real strong centre, obviously from the Turonga Waiwai club in Waikato.
The New Zealand club team a couple of years ago as a scaffolder. So hopefully he'll know how to build success from the ground up.
Yeah, lay some foundations.
Yes. South Island with the ball now, 15 from their line as they themselves set a solid foundation. And this is a nice little opportunity, a screeching run down the left edge. That's Siaki. The Eastern Eagles is the quickest on field for the South Island, and as you can see, really chews up the turf, doesn't he? But good defence in the end by Waikato, forcing the talented winger across and into touch. Just short of the halfway line to restart here for Waikato, looking a little bit disorganised as they get hold of the ball, and there's a fairly predictable little move there for Angus Boone Harris. Easily accounted for. Might be Ahu, I should say, might be Ahu, that's Hawaii. Kaiakora Heke, left side, and putting that back on the inside for Taylor Wright. It's mostly Union background, Taylor. Hamilton boys high, and now Tūranga Waiwai, Taylor. And Waikato with the ball. 8 minutes gone, just a one try scored. A bit of one out running here from Waikato, but that's just say, laying a foundation. Down the short side they go once again. The chip over the top from Daniels is taken in the end goal. We mentioned yesterday quite skinny end goals really at Trust Stadium, or Waitaka Stadium, the west side. South Island with it through Hatch once again, who takes it out and be tackled just shy of the 30-metre mark.
Yeah, just a little bit on that kick. They want to set it up just a metre or two in front of that try line, so they give themselves the best opportunity of putting pressure on that back three. But the South Island, they're creating opportunities for themselves. Every time they've been down this end, they've skipped to the outside and found one of their wingers or found a centre in a little bit of space.
Aitawa, short side, and it's on to Lowry, the try scorer. He finds Jacob Lowe.
I was really impressed with Jacob Lowe last weekend, the winger, the number 5 there, who's usually playing on the right side. He's he's got good skills for a winger. He can finish off moves, but he also is very, very busy. Comes in every set of 6 looking for some work. He's either there to back up one of the forwards or run it himself off a hit up. So yeah, was really impressed with Jacob Lowe.
Caleb Murphy, the big left footer, but it does get picked up. I mentioned there's not a lot of wind, but it certainly sailed away from all with attackers and defenders. 10 minutes gone, 1 try scored in the 3rd minute. Quick start, it was Laurie who scored that try after some good lead-up work by the back rower, Uriah Tully. Tap and go, easily read by the defenders, Tully in particular. Right, Tully played with the Bulls last year and is with the Linwood squad. Big ups to our viewers down in Canterbury. Such a proud area for rugby league, and of course bolstered too by the good form that's been shown. The Southern Rams, the Whalers as well making up, and the West Coast squad of course. A couple of guys in here who hail from across at the coast, and there's the chip over the top. Now fullback is Albert Pettit, and a good chase there by Taylor Wright, and his opposite number to Modi Rapana tackling Albert Pettit. Dummy half work for Hatch, prepared to just soak up a bit of the D. Jacob Lowe, the ball, and he's tackled there by Lola Paolu. Tully again, the back rower, good carry. Draws 3 defenders just into enemy territory now. Cut out ball and looking for some action. Here's a nice little pass out wide too, and some speed on. But again, good defence from the fullback, good commitment from Rapana on Siaki. And Siaki looks as though he might have hit an ankle, but also just couldn't quite get the ball back on the inside. Speed to burn though, Wairangi, their winger.
Yeah, great offload as well. A full-length offload, and finds his man in Siaki, but just not enough room for him. And great work from Te Homodi Rapana to come across and shut that down. He did a good job. It was a brave tackle by Rapana. Took his opposition into touch, so keeping his team alive at the moment.
Waikato just need to keep themselves in contact. They can't afford to concede another come to the 12th minute of this round 3 game. And then the short side, they come this time for Tawa Daniels, played at fullback last time we had a commentary. That will be a penalty, so they'll be able to get an extra 20 or 30 metres on the kick to the far side of the field.
Yeah, smart play there by the hooker. And that's Kaio Koroeke. He knew straight away, and South Island got involved immediately. So good piggyback there out of their own half. Gives them an opportunity for an attacking set. They've only had one down this end so far in this first half.
Been doing some pre-season training with Tani Wharoa here. A couple of the young fellas got took it up midweek. Get fresh, get some fitness work under their belts.
Yeah, a lot of these boys like Te Homori Rapana and Marky J, Claudia Marsh, they're all, I mean, this is their 20s, but they're all sort of senior footballers now as well. So, you know, training along with the big boys and the Prems and the reserves at the moment. So they're looking good. They're fit boys, as you would expect at this stage, being, you know, they're 2 or 3 rounds into this competition.
Here comes the Portia Marsh, the man we were just mentioning. And of course, when you're playing against some of the old hard nuts of Waikato Rugby League, you'll be going well. And there's some great work from Kaya Koraheke. He slid into dummy half. He was always going to put the dive through. And that's what can happen to the line, stealing a 4-pointer.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and look, just the head up of the Portia Marsh, inability of the South Island to actually wrestle him to the ground meant that he was still standing. So we played the ball. The Canterbury, the South Island boys were sort of, they were just beside him. There was a marker there, like a half a marker, and it was easy pickings really for Kaio Koroeke. Just had to pick the ball up and dive over the line. So a little bit of awareness there from South Island.
It's Tahe Koroeke. He can play anywhere in the spine. His coach really rates him too. Smart play, good brain, and good eyes up footy, as Coach Eugene Davis described him to me when I chatted with him about his players, and showing why his coach rates him highly. He just saw the opportunity and didn't need a second invitation. So it's a 6-4 scoreline here, and that'll be encouraging to Waikato. Travelled up, no doubt, by bus late in the morning. Going up on a plane this morning, just a couple of hours ago, to be honest, South Island. A few of the players who were based in Otago came through yesterday evening. They had a captain's run for an hour or so. Archie Jacobs was mentioning. So there will be no excuses regarding travelling here as we look for the restart. Quarter of an hour gone here in this round 3 clash. You're watching it courtesy of NZR Round and of course Sky Sport. And we're enjoying seeing these young guys having a dig. There's some good defence, a wall of red and white. There's plenty of tick up, a lot of character in a lot of these young men who put the Waikato jersey on with great pride. A close tussle it is at this stage of the game. Long way to go. That's Te Portia Marsh. Put some good work together as we see the first real break for Waikato. Mana down the left edge. The chase is on, but little support. But still, classy work from Tumatauing decoy. Here's the fullback to the action, Rapana. He's a terrific young player. Te Homori. Perhaps his whanaunga over in Oz, Jordan, is a sensational footballer, isn't he? So it's the South Island get hold of the ball and almost weaving some magic there is Eli Ellison.
They did a great job there, Waikato, of putting that set together. They almost, they did go the entire field. They did a great job of mitigating actually the rushing defence of the South Island. Just a couple of 2 passes between some forwards and then the break from Tumatauing on the left edge there.
So Whangupo gets a ball out to Callum Donaldson, the vice-captain here for the South Island. He's wrestled to ground by Marky J. Heted Wado. Peeling out a dummy half as Faitoa manages to pop the ball across to the George Favour. So the enterprising play this time for Kowhanunga. He's rolled to ground of the tackle of Lolo Paulu. On the foot of Laurie, who puts the crossfield kick into the end goal where it's taken with skill. And the restart is Angus Boone. Harris wants to get away to a quick start and eventually he's called back.
Is it a penalty here, maybe?
Well, my apologies. I thought we were reading on with it.
Might have
Into
been.
that one, please.
Must have been an escort of some sort.
Making a chance to have another look. Higher knowledge to continue on with the play. Faiva in position. Here's the South Island threatening two numbers down. And here is Laurie again. He was good to start us off. And it looks as though he's held up as he crossed the line.
Great work for up on the Modi there, doing exactly what he needed to do as a fullback and wrapping his body around that ball.
Still, the threat lingers here for Waikato. They've got a defensive game and show some focus here as Alessi gets him into close range. And a penalty again, backing it up as Faitoa, the skipper. He's 10 metres out. Just marshalling his trips now, Ethan. Puts the tap on, out to one of the bigger men. Straightens his favour. Just 5 metres out, you'd have to fancy your chances if you're South Island supporter here as Laurie gets the ball on and the finishing work is fine. Kowhanunga, I think it is, who was across to score. And Laurie again showing his class. And it's had too much ball, and it was Tupo Kowhanunga. Also from Auckland, he's now down in Invercargill. He's been playing for the Rams. Tough back rower. And player of the day in the Bulls Whalers. Not so very long ago, but willingness to drive into the line from close range. And Waikato just didn't have the to hold. A nice popped ball as well from Oliver Laurie. He's proven to be a real boost here for the South Island squad, and Archie Jacobs will be pleased with his work right around.
Yes, indeed. I mean, back-to-back sets was always going to be tough for the Waikato side to defend against. You could see the body language for the Waikato Mana side. They weren't really getting up off the line. The enthusiasm really there towards that last, that third set in a row that they had to defend their line. So, look, they had after their try, they had a great set and attack. They turned it around with a pretty poor effort in defence, and after that, they sort of ran out of gas a little bit to defend back-to-back sets. So, something that Eugene Davies is going to want to address. It's a little bit of attitude.
So it's the Ruben Wiki Cup. Waitangi Corpu Cup. We discussed that yesterday. You mentioned that there's potential for some sort of legal action to ensure that becomes a reality.
I'm not sure about that, my friend. If it's it would be,
Well, we get a trophy in the Tony for no cabinet anyway.
It would be. It'd probably be a butt cup. Let's put it that way.
There's the kickoff. South Island looking pretty good here this afternoon. They float back onto the inside. They want to go upfield here and to the 20-metre line they go initially with the tackles made by Hetich Wader. He's from the front, doesn't he? Skip here. A lot of the young guys actually through Wise Rako Mangamanga and Huntley. Many of them adept at kapahaka and especially their taho Māori and their reo Māori. It's a proud region. It's proud young men sporting the colours of Waikato here this afternoon. And as we see once again, Faitoa, a beautiful offload to Truly. And the rower looks great in space, doesn't it? Big, rangy, hard-running back rower. And in the end, Uriah Tully really makes the defence look second-rate that time around. But for the skipper for Waikato, it was slick, but it needed some work. And the man to provide that impetus was Uriah Tully, looking good in flight and scoring a good try just to the left-hand side of the post.
Yeah, they're starting to find their groove a little bit now, South Island coming together in numbers, and obviously having people the size of this Uriah Tully backing up. It's always going to be tough to stop for men at the back.
You know, we watched last night. I was just so impressed with the Melbourne and Parramatta Eels game last night. It was just superb quality. But the roll-on and commitment from the play the ball and the go forward was something that every young player should be and trying to emulate. Okay, you're going to get it right initially, are you? But you just got to recognise that when the ball is played, it's the steam that's coming through. And you don't need to look too far than to Swimmy's. And of course, Brad Arthur's as well. They were pretty tough. In fact, they won by one. But some great examples of how the game should be played available to all of these young men.
Yeah, the attitude and effort is just relentless from those top sides. They never give in, they never stop. Their want to win is far greater than you know, the thought of actually losing. And they just turn up for each other all the time. Yeah, it is a great example for younger players in terms of if you ever think that, you know, potentially you want to knock off second or just not tie in, or you know, just decide that just for this few tackles you're going to go out to the wing and have a little bit of a break. It just doesn't work like that at that top level. Melbourne Storms, they just decide that they're never ever going to give up.
Well, Brandon Smith, this is an example of a young guy. He's from Waiheke Island, wasn't he? He came through Bay Ross School too. Ended up over as a 15-year-old. He's one of the superstars, the Wombat now, and wow, he just knows how to play. A lot of these young guys should just get some footage and watch his commitment and style. As we see Waikato now getting themselves into good field position. So it's Rapana. He's been one of the best so far today. Taylor Wright decides, well, okay, I'm going to do what I can to get us into good field position. The tackle is just 5 metres out from the try line. Kyle Kuraheke has scored one from close range. This is looking better for Waikato. Once again, Rapana has an opportunity, but he's cut down 3 or 4 metres try line. They're starting to build through Daniels, and he steps into some hot traffic and can't find his way through as they shut him down. Still just a few metres out from try line for Waikato. Bullet pass, picks up Clark Lua. He looks to put it into the end goal. Wonder whether he should have been thinking more of using it through the hands and across his back line, because in the end the South Island come up with the ball and they'll say thanks very much, we want a possession. And now we've got it as they work away from their own line. Yeah,
crossfield kick, cross to his winger probably would have been a better option. Just look up, the vision wasn't there, and see that the centre was back there already waiting for that little grubber kick.
This is Whangupo Tane, and then down the right side, see that's a little bit of a hit on the accelerator pedal. Good run from Hatch. Sparking. Nice little offload here, but again looking terrific is Faiva. Looking to link up, but it's Waikato coming with an intercept going backwards with a cramp as well. But desperate, and it's Alanea Clark Rua was right in the middle of both South Island players and snaffled the ball. And that's a great result for Waikato, looking increasingly a threat as well by the South Island team. His confidence levels are sky high. 27 goals is 3 tries to 1 and a 16-6 scoreline. Just joined us, the action from Waikato Stadium, round 3 of the Ruben Wiki Cup Under-20s Regional Rugby League. And here is Waikato decided, well look, we're not having a lot of joy down this end. Let's get it up to, well, that's set up in the end goal. It might do. It forced a play out of at the end and held up on the end goal with a decent chase as well from Waikato. Get the ball back. That's a good result for them.
Really nice. Yeah, really nice. Just held up perfectly in that dead board line. Albert Beck, he was a little bit two minds of whether just to let it run with the extra 30 centimetres or pick it up and have a go trying to get it back into the field of play. And it's a good chase as well. So, yeah, good tactics there from Waikato, who've been under a heck of a lot of pressure. So, opportunity now to post and put some pressure back on the South Island.
We want to be careful here as that one goes 50. Decent thinking from Rapan. He's got a good head on his shoulders to Modi. And didn't panic then.
He must get that from his mum because his dad is not nearly as smart as Te Modi.
Kia ora, Dad, I know you'll be watching, and why wouldn't you be? Well, Brent's proud of the young guys. In a day and age where we know there's a lot of drop-off and participating in sports through the teenage years, and that's part of the reason this under-20s comp was developed. Our young guys who play through schools involved in the code. It's proved to be a successful formula for the NZRL over the last few years that the competition has been staged. We seem to be mentioning this guy's name a lot. We are doing that. It's because Rapana continues to be a bit of an everywhere guy. Really leading by example, the talented fullback. The tap is on for Maipiahu. Now it's hit up time for the sipper. Here's Eduardo, who's wrapped up just a few metres out from the try line. Looking for a quick play of the ball. Eventually that comes. And there's a straightforward run. I thought almost going in underneath. But the defence on the line was spot on as Taylor Wright gets up and takes offence.
Need a result here, Waikato. Sustained pressure.
Kurangi sadly gives it to Taylor Wright once again. He tries to run between two of the big units. And there you have it. You know, you can do all the hard work so close, but if you don't adhere to the fundamentals, then you let yourself and your teammates down.
Yeah, and you just completely let that pressure valve off the South Island, your opposition. One after 3 penalties down on this end of the park. Really needed to come up with a result.
South Island with the ball. They'll be pretty pleased with their efforts here in the first half. Waikato was in touch. Gee, they could have done with a try though. That would really have been a boost for them before the half-time break, which is only 5 minutes away now. Down the right edge. Jake, hello. It's proving a real handful. Eventually gets to play the ball, but before he's been able to pick up 15 or 20 metres. This is Makaya Tafua. He's coming bench. Tafua gets him across the halfway line. Low and plenty of willingness here from the South Island runners to do some backing up. Once again with the left foot up on a reads the play nicely. Guy Ellison is in there to make the tackle. Involved in the New Zealand Sport High Performance Program. For Waikato. Well, they want to get down the other end of the field here, Waitangi. At the moment, in the grind, and they'll just have to be prepared to put in the hard yards here at the moment because South Island a little more flamboyant with ball in hand. They've got some good outside runners. For Waikato, they just to keep the situation tight. A decent kick into the corner. There's the chip over the top. Now the regather, the bounce is going to be important. And it's cleaned up in the end by Albert Petty. But against some good efforts coming in, especially from Tawa Daniels. And South Island with the ball 45 from their own line.
Little job there, Albert Petty coming in to attack that ball. Tawa Daniela, he's got some flair about his game. It was a good, nice little chip over the top, just asking the questions of the fullback.
And there's another intercepted pass. There wasn't much on there as Ethan Faitau link up with his man, but I don't know, maybe jerseys are a little bit similar in colours, a bit of white there. Often you just get that flash of colour from your peripheral vision. We've seen it occur twice already, but as far as Waikato are concerned, they say thanks very much money for old rope. holding up the pass. I'm not quite sure why the popped ball there from Regan Oldham out to Radovanovic was somewhat senseless, because it might have been just better to take the tackle yourself, Regan. In the end, it was knocked on, and South Island gets scrum feed just a couple of minutes out from the half-time break. So Laurie was in to score after 3 minutes. Quarter Heke came back about 10 minutes later with a half effort from close range, and then tries to go for a Tully with the 16-6 scoreline that we witness at the. This man's been very impressive and looking to pop the ball on to Tully. Also has been good. In fact, it was Oliver Laurie. He's got some skill. So is Jacob Lowe. Been impressed with them here this afternoon. Siaki has been excellent. 2 down the left edge. And here's the scrum being packed down on the 40-metre line. South Island's end of the ground. And it's Waikato. We'll have a chance in the last couple of minutes here of the first period.
Yeah, I think both teams will be looking to hopefully build a little bit more pressure and be a little more patient through the second half. They're creating these, just execution, sort of those final pass, the little short balls that putting their teammates under a little bit too much pressure and causing errors.
Stilanovic Watane is into the mix as well. Played at 7 last time. We covered the game from Davies Park a few weeks ago. A talented player, very creative. If he can contribute as he would like, he's in jersey number 15. The South Island with the ball as we come down towards the conclusion of this first half. I wanted to speak of here at the Waitakere Stadium this afternoon. This is the 4th game played on the track in the last 2 days. So it's holding up pretty well. South Island, that's a purposeful run with a bit of sting and attitude from Tafua. The skipper fight Taua decides, okay, well, we want it down the other end, and this ball will roll end over end, but it won't be going dead. And a straightening run from Rapanu. The very best for Waikato here, as the Hood Sounds will still have to play out the penalty. And the high shot is not on, so the referee says we'll get more chance with the football.
See if they have a final crack here.
Throw caution to the wind. This is 20s football's not NRL grand final. Be disappointing if it's just tapped and taken forward. Well, that's maybe what Arden was thinking, but then indeed he has a go. Looking for the chip and the regather. There's a charge down, so we have run over time by a little bit here, and still want to keep it alive. Hatch on the far side of the field. He eventually succumbed. Well, that'll be the end of that first half of action. Hope you're enjoying it. It's round 3 of the Ruben Wiki Cup. And here in the under-20s, it's South Island 20s leading Waikato 16-6.
Want to know your eyes when it comes to the best.
Unbelievable. Can he get there? What a run. He gets it over.
HSBC World Rugby 7 Series, live on Sky Sport.
Here we go. We love this game.
ANZ Premiership Netball, live Sky Sport.
Tomorrow's champions are inspired by today's, but they can only be what they can see. That's why Sky brings you more strength, skill, and courage. And not just on the pitch, but all over the game plan too.
This is what we've been waiting for.
See the rise, see the potential, see history being made, see the possible.
European golf is going global. Which means our very own Ryan Fox will be mixing it with the best on the new DP World Tour.
Catch me if you can.
Oh, you beauty! He got it!
Dreams do come true. Look at what that means to him. That is incredible.
How good was that?
The DP World Tour is live on Sky Sport.
Welcome back, and this is Waikato Stadium. South Island team opting to stay out on track rather than going to the dressing sheds. They'll be pretty satisfied with that first effort, but Waikato's still very much in the game. Just a 10-point deficit at the half-time break. It started off where he scored a good try, and right goes, well, I know what's going on. Waikato, but to their credit, they've put themselves back into the game. Kowhanunga crossing just on the 20-minute mark, and Tuli soon after. But that try from Kyle Koreheke has kept them in touch. Who have stood out for you out of both squads, Wade?
I mean, definitely fullback for Waikato, Te Mori Rapana has been fantastic back there. He's created opportunities with the ball and also done a great job of saving some points as well for the Waikato side. But on the outside, I think really impressed with the back row, Tupou Whanonga. He's been really strong. And obviously, he's the Auckland import that's been down in the South Island now playing there. You can see them in their pods, backs and forwards, going through their processes and what they need to do. And Whanonga he's the big man at the back there with the head tied up in the bump. So he's been really impressive for me. Will need to be big again in the second half if they're to go on this job.
Yeah, you're right. Tuli has had an outstanding run. I've been impressed with Siaki. Plenty of pace. The standout for me, really, for the Waikato squad has been Rapana's willingness to get involved. Very good work rate from him, and he's been leading from example. Eugene Davis just talking with his charges and saying you're very much in the hunt here. And, of course, his counterpart is Archie Jacobs, doing likewise with the South Island team. That's Eugene there with his arms crossed, talking quietly to his men. He's not too animated, but they know that they're going to have to focus really hard the next 35 minutes if they're to come away with a victory and perhaps upset the favourites, the South Island, after their decent win over the Upper Central squad last week. Half-time here at Waikato Stadium and at 16-6. Stay with us. A short break. We'll be back for the kick-off of the second half coming your way next, right here on Sky Sport.
It's time to go. Let's go. Oh, this is this is incredible. It's the power of the Pacific. DHL Super Rugby Pacific, live on Sky Sport.
Tomorrow's champions are inspired by today's, but they can only be what they can see. That's why Sky brings you more strength, more skill, more speed, more courage.
Oh my goodness.
And not just on the pitch, you'll see it behind the scenes, in front of the camera, and all over the game plan.
This is what we've been waiting for.
See the rise. See the potential. See history being made. See the possible.
Breaker Nation is taking it to the next level. Tonight, live on Sky Sport.
How about this?
Live on Sky Sport. The All Whites take on the best of Oceania for their shot at the FIFA World Cup. Get behind Danny Hayes' boys.
Bring it back to the...
OFC FIFA World Cup qualifiers semi-finals. Tomorrow, live, Sky Sports 7, BN Sports.
Do you know what's not little?
What? Our Wi-Fi coverage is simply huge.
Yeah. It'll cover your house.
That's a pretty small house.
Well, it's a model.
Here we go. Well, there are whistles, there are cheers, there are screams. Oh, my goodness. Look at them go. We love this game.
Round 3 of the ANZ Premiership starts today with Mystics Pulse, followed by Steel Stars. Live, Sky Sport 1. Coverage brought to you by ANZ.
Broncos, Cowboys, Sea Eagles, Bulldogs. Today, live on Sky Sport 4.
Well, welcome back. I think we're in for an exciting second half here in Waitangi. Ngā mihi nui kia koe. Great to have you along here with Sky Sport at ZRL. This Waikato team, we've got a little bit more in the tank than what they perhaps displayed in that first 35 minutes. The referee makes his way back on track. The South Island, of course, well, we know they've got plenty of skill and ability, but they've got plenty to play for here. The boys from down Tainui Way, and let's hope that they're able to convert that into tries. Putting some pressure. The wind seems to have built up slightly here, but sadly for them, the commentators curse, and the ball's been picked up westerly and sent track over the dead ball line. So back to the middle we go for a restart, and of course a tap restart for the South Island.
Yeah, and then to be fair, the South Island's pretty close in the first half as well. And I thought, geez, they've got some big boots, these kids. Yeah, that was a hefty kick that got caught up in the wind there and taking just a couple of metres over the dead ball line. You want to rectify that next time he gets an opportunity to kick ball.
Makaia Tafua with the first touch of the ball for the South Islands. It's the impressive look. This time the ball goes down, not being able to picked up by Albert Petty. Gets it eventually. Keaton Hatch looking in to support him, but eventually the skipper Faitaua is to do the work. One of the most impressive through that first half with the ball now. Some solid getting underway here for Waikato Mana. Down the left again, Tafua, first receiver. A bit of a playmaking role here as well. The player off the interchange bench. Down the short side they come again, and Donaldson showing some skills. In the sort of South Island league system, Callum, since he was just a young fella, so he sort of knows the ropes. But it's finally with Waikato have it through Rapana. Again, they need a couple of their big forwards to just really take the ball by the horns and charge these defensive lines. Boone Harris with the play ball like this, and Waikato starting to build. Kaiakoro Heke to right. Good run. The Southern skipper Faitaua is there to hold on. About 10 metres short of the halfway line. After Stilinovic Wartener, who looked for the little chip, perhaps the deep kick into the corner might have been more useful. He said perhaps hoping that the bounce might have faded him as Donaldson again, as his legs taken out from under him. The big men start. Tully finds himself in space, and Tully climbed aboard by Rapana, who managed to lodge the ball, and now it's with Taylor Wright, who comes head first charging forward and runs into Donald. A little bit dusty. Down the right side they come at Waikato. Well, hey, that was great work once again from Rapana. We've already been singing his praises, but he deserves that too, because it looked like Uriah Tully, he was going all the way.
a little interchange of hands there from the South Island. They're starting to put some passes together, and that's really troubling the Waikato mana defence. Yeah, all motored up. Johnny on the spot did a good job. The big man down and managed to dislodge that ball. So once again, yeah, just saving them again at the back there is Te Homori.
He's done with Daniel, puts a big one up for Petty, and he's equal to the challenge too. Takes it with skill.
Yeah,
Radovich on him.
Yeah, really safe. I was going to say, Mata Albert Petty, fullback for the South. I've been really safe back there. Every ball that's come his way, he's done a really good job of cleaning it up.
There's the imposing sight of the Tupou Kofonga looming up large on the right-hand side, and Hatch decides that he's going to have a go himself. This is Calvin Hatch. Good, strong, powerful run from him to 23 metres out from the try line, and quickly to dummy half. Albert Petty wants to quick play the ball. That's dished up for him now, and they've got numbers as it goes through the skipper, Waitawa. And now out wide, keeping alive is Lowry. They're looking very good out here, and that's a fine try to Whangupo. Tani Whangupo. Really at the back end, it's a wonderful lead-up play for South Island. And they're in to score 5 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, it was a quick break down the right-hand side. They did it. So Modi managed to pull them down, but they just couldn't get back outside, and it was just hands in the end. South Island just shifted it to the left, and wasn't like that or overly. Just getting it out, shuffling it out to the centre as quickly as you can, and finding a little bit of space out there, and they cross over for the second half.
I really want to take the nod to Calvin Hatch. You know, he put some wheels on, cut through a gap, and really just got the momentum and the ball rolling, and eventually some chain passing saw him find Whangupo, who did all the two from out wide, and it's the fullback who'll look to add the extras there. So a good try scored here, but harking back to the kick-off and those fundamental errors, they can just be momentum shifters. You get a good G-up talk from the coach at half-time, and you want, and of course, so your head can drop right from the start of that second half because of when you blew off the tee. The flag up, and so the scoreboard as well. 22-6, imperative now, if there's going to be a chance that Waikato do score next. Here's Whangupo. Like the way he moves across the ground. But through all of the ARL, it's all rugby league age systems. I think he's played for Tonga as well, Tane Whangupo. As we come back for the restart, this time it's Tawa Daniels who will do so. Opts to go along the ground this time. That's probably because there have been some great players have come out of this island over the years. The West Coast traditionally back providing plenty of Kiwi talent. That was just deemed to be a poor play of the ball. The number 7 is a bit frustrated by the decision, Eli Allison. That's the way that the referee, as mentioned, it does provide Waikato a good field position, a full set to see what they can do to counteract that try they've just conceded.
Yeah, well, those 50-50 ones, he was in a hurry to play the ball. Referee Joseph Green just thinks over anxious a little bit. Spilt it through as we see. Up on up. A half break, hook up with Tumatauanga Te Koe.
There's a problem there. It'd be a shame for Waikato if Rapana finds himself injured. Hope it's just a cramp and nothing worse. I was thinking too, it's first tackle and the offload perhaps not necessary to make an impact, find a gap, seize an opportunity and all of that, but there's also at times going to play with thinking about the percentages, field position, weighing up what firepower you have as far as fatigue is concerned. So there will be some concerns for a player from Waikato who's probably been their best this afternoon. Pialu is now.
Yeah, well, it is Del Modi's first game of the year. Missed out on the first round, and then they bye last weekend, so yeah, it is a little bit of cramp. It's expected.
Harrington Radovanovic is with the ball. Sadly, pushes it out to the right-hand side onto Stilanic Watane. He's elusive. He's not a big guy. He's able to dart. But at the moment, we just need a steady hand here from Waikato. Moments with the crossfield kick. You have to think that the boys outside might have been in front of the kicker, but they're able to contain the South Island. And that's been forced in goal underneath the crossbar. In the end, a pretty good result, Waikato.
Yeah, I thought the Waikato side, especially that left-hand side, was maybe a couple of metres in front of Del Daniela when you came in. Ultimately as well, I thought there was a knock-on by the South Island in the end goal and the play was offside. But here we are.
Still a good chance. We'll be able to see if Rapana has had that cramp seen to. As mentioned, he's been certainly one of the best on for the boys from Waikato here this afternoon. So here's the restart. A flat kick. And contained here, Waikato. Regan Oldham is with the ball and wrapped up on the 40 line, quickly to his feet. Dummy half work here for Sadlier down the right side. They come and it's ball. Sadlier. That ball almost has been picked up here by the South Island. So an errant pass resulting in the Travellers from afar getting hold of the football. Here's Whanupō, scored a wonderful try not so very long ago, and he looks a bit sore here. I don't think that there was anything untoward in there. What do you read into the situation?
A bit of pressure on the lower back. There wasn't too much in there. Mahaki J actually just sort of, in his attempt to wrestle him and roll him over, they sort of just, they hyper-extended his back a little bit. And must have just smarted. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue, but good stretch out of the lower back is always going to smart.
Some concern for him as he's been taken from the field. No, he's not. Let's have another look at that. I'll be disappointed in Waikato that errant pass. This is about the injury occurred. So back into the live action here, due by Sport, and of course New Zealand Rugby League. Big ups to them for continuing with this competition. All the comps have been really affected by the COVID, and again, it's another one of those sort of, well, not no-look passes, but perhaps just picking up the red and the white in that Waikato strip. Chance for them to now go to work. This is their captain, Mahaki J. Hetet Wado. So MJ to his feet, out of dummy half. Comes Sadlier. Hikurangi. 30 metres out. Waikato. Need to control football. Going for the short side run. Picked off there is Clark Rua. Needing to link up dummy half running. He's not going to get them there. Hetet Wado goes into dummy half here now. Deep into the tackle count for Waikato. Trying to be a little bit more expressive. And then the kick to the in goal again was fairly predictable. And the bounce couldn't have been any better for Halbert Pettier, who receives it gleefully, really.
Yeah, once again, he's put himself in a really good spot there, Halbert Pettier. Fortunately, a vision from Waikato in terms of where that fullback is, and the best is taking the right options in terms of the kicking on the final play.
So it's Hatch. Here he comes again, the Bullock and Kofanunga. Tough, great attitude through the middle, always attracting 2, sometimes 3, and occasionally 4 defenders. There's a cutout ball on the far side. And just trying to pick up Eli Allison, who had the ball a few metres in from the far side field, which is the eastern touchline here at Waikato. The ground running really north-south. And it's Waikato with the ball, and that's a spirited defensive effort as well from Allison, who said he can attack and defend. Waikato forward, slow to retreat. South Island, on the other hand, smell blood in the water. And another injury. Got to understand too, they haven't been playing a lot of guys. It's Joey Daniels. And again, cramping up. And you've got to worry sometimes about your teammates who immediately assume positions. Some whānau out here in the stands. Obviously, they'll mostly be from Waikato because the South Island supporters less likely to travel. There may be a few, but I wouldn't think there would be too many. So, but Daniels is his feet. Time his calves have cramped up today. It's got a while to go too. Just on well over 20 minutes. So he'll play the ball and then hobble back and try and find somewhere to hide. And on a footy field, there ain't nowhere to hide.
It's tough, yeah. No, what a Waikato. That's 15 metres out from their try line. And tackle 4. South Island, they can smell blood here.
Now it's time for Portman. Paul. There's still a role for big men. Paul used to actually play as a standoff. He too is a scaffolder. Good kick in the end. Waikato can just release some pressure. They'll get the scrum set here, and a bit of an opportunity for the big guys to take in some big breaths and get themselves ready for another onslaught here from the South Island, who have the ball and ready to go. Oliver Laurie has been good today. Hall is a good player. And a ball play, the ball will give Waikato a chance of field position. They haven't been able to earn, and now they're gifted that opportunity. Stilanovic Watanabe will feed the scrum here. And everything just a little bit pedestrian at the moment through this last 4 or 5 minutes. 22 points to 6 for the South Islanders through Laurie, Kofanunga Tuli and Whangupo. Now just that one try from close range too from Kaya Koreke early in the match. See Waikato with ball in hand. Now this is Mai Piahu, who has the pill. Down the right side, sadly is directing traffic. A little slow to get onto the ball, but eventually they do. Waikato tiring. You can see some of the big forwards walking around. Tapuria Marsh is there, but perhaps dragging the chain a little bit. Some of the forwards now. Hetituato to his feet. Here's Marsh. Marsh up the back door. Stilanovic Watanabe keeping it alive here to Decoy. That ball has gone down, and now Laurie gets hold of it. He's dangerous and swift. He bounces away from Stilanovic Watanabe, then straightens, and that's a high tackle, is it? No, referee says okay with that. So Laurie gets up and is away with the football. Now it's on the left edge is Faitoa, the skipper, feeds on, and that's nice to see played, although deemed to have gone forward.
Yep.
So again, get another opportunity gifted them, and they'll be feeling a little bit lucky. I thought this was a promising move. Stepping here from Olori.
Yeah, I mean, not too much in that. No, head-eye tackle there.
He stands down as a player with some skill. Oliver.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Yeah, good pace. I haven't seen a lot of his passing game. But definitely as an individual, he's got some great footwork, good speed.
Now, that should serve as an inspirational run. It came out of nowhere, but it's a very good carry from the back rower. Well, let's see if Waikato can capitalise. They were to score and really lift themselves. Still doable. There's a ton of time left. 10 minutes to play. Only by 16 points, so I mean, you might think it unlikely, but it would only take one to swing some momentum around their way. Portland Paul has the ball on the 30-metre line. 16th Regan Oldham. Good field position. Callum Donaldson working hard still on defence. And here's Delovic Wartner with that chip kick over the top. I'd like to see a few more, a bit more colour in his approach. It's the third time we've seen the short chip over the top. I'm going to send it high, spiral bomb, try something, crossfield kick. Well, all these skills in your arsenal if you're out.
Just check it low, he's strong, tough. Imposing winger, comes in, takes a run, a good one, gets the Waikato on the back foot. Yeah, I'd like to see them just ball a little bit more, to be honest, Waikato. They've got big Tumato and like the koi out there on the left, and they keep chipping over the top. Putting in little grubbers.
It's not high percentage play, is it? A couple of the kicks just bounced beautifully into the hands of the fullback.
How long?
Another look here. I think that's a penalty for a crusher tackle effort on Kyle Koroke. There's the penalty there. As you can see by the body language, they are a tiring mob at the moment. Waikato
running out of troops too. They all loaded up, and they obviously went off with cramp, and then Taua Daniela, he went off with cramp, but they're down to the third string.
Just looking at this crusher tackle, how it came to be. Well, we've seen worse, but good to see the authorities wanted to get on top of things early. The game's not like it used to be. I think that safety of players is paramount. The referee has been asked to officiate in that way, and I don't think it's a bad thing at all. The days of the Carlaw coat hanger have gone.
That was just a regular tackle, wasn't it?
Well, it's at Davies Park.
Yeah.
Still. Here's Waikato with the ball. Time is against them. 14 minutes to play. And the game's just somewhat meandering along here. Yes, they're down on troops, and but that could be level at both squads. This South Island team just seem a little bit more, or working with a bit more intent. So here's the big up and under. It's going to be awkward to see where the bounce goes, and in the end, it is the South Island who come up with it. Not too many chases, or not as many as you'd hope for, but for Stelanovic Wartene, that was trying a different approach. And for a moment, I thought Kofanoa was keen to pop that pass out to Allison.
He just thought twice about it. The ball was just post line there as well.
And another cramping scene in the background for Waikato.
I think that might be for dissent. Swearing at the referee, I think. There it is. He wasn't happy with being held down a little bit too long. Gave the referee, Joseph Green, a bit of a serve, and Joseph Green said, "Nah, mate, you can't do that."
What about you? I don't recall you getting snapped for sort of the course of your career. Were you very a guy who bagged a ref, grunt and curse?
No, not at all, really. You sort of lower level, not NRL, lower levels, you try and do your best to swing momentum your way and maybe give the referee something to think about, but not necessarily bag them. They're obviously doing a great job. Like we mentioned yesterday, they're not the most loved people, referees. There's always going to be one side that is going to be a little bit disappointed in how the officiating went. So, they do a great job. They're only human, especially at this level. They make mistakes, and it's the way that sport is. It's just a game.
It's a lovely sentiment that you've shared. Could build it up to be everything, but in the end, it's just that, a game we love. But as well, this is starting to look a bit promising out the back door. Now, if this pass can get away, it was shut down, but it was looking threatening there. Shut down the end by Jacob Lowe. Here it comes to Portia Marsh, and now it's Big Portman Paul might do the bizzo. He does. Crashes over Portman Paul. And it looks as though one of the South Island defenders as well knows all about it. Well, the door just opened up for a guy who's probably the biggest on the field, and he's actually played strong at times here this afternoon, Portman Paul. He'll be pleased with his efforts, and for Waikato, the clocks reads 11 play. It'll give them just a little bit of hope that they can away with this. Here he is again on the spin.
Yeah, he looked up to see where his ball players were and who he could pass it to be honest, after a couple of offloads there from Waikato. Well, nobody wants the ball. I'm just going to have a crack myself. The defend got him actually on the outside of the outside defender, which meant that he just pushed through enough, and big man was too hard to stop. He's got enough pace to get him to the line.
So Stilinovic right there to add the extras. As I've mentioned before, got a soft spot for young Jardin. He's my cousin's boy, but he's a talented kid. And let's see if he can just add the extras here. Portman Paul with a good run. And unfortunately not able to add the two. Just getting back to Portman, he used to play at standoff, and he's got a lot of now a pivot. So he's put on some beef, as you can see here, but he's quite light on his feet. And that little spin to hit the line was utilised to good effect. 2-10. That try to Portman Paul. You're watching the Ruben Wiki Cup. This is round 3, and we'll be looking forward to taking you right through to the final. Teams involved, of course, Takalana and County Manukau, the upper central squad that we host. And from the south, as mentioned as well, disappointing that the team that won the tourney last year, this pre-season tourney, was unable to field a squad in 2022, mostly with the COVID situation. So those young guys be watching now, be thinking if we could have been in this mix.
Yeah, I think it's disappointing as is not to have their involvement this year. A lot of players might have found some spot in some other teams if they really want. I do like that Waikato will have their own team again this year, and the opportunity, I suppose, to grow their rangatahi within the Waikato region and this team. Obviously, with the likes of Upper Central and Central last year, that they're bringing in players from all the different regions. It was difficult under the circumstances, any circumstances really, to try and get those boys there to training and prepare. This way, the Waikato side, they're close to home. They can all prepare well and hopefully get to trainings. And even if they're not as competitive this year, in upcoming years, hopefully they have that competitiveness.
Yeah, well, it's good to see them reinstating their own mana as a region. They've been subsumed somewhat by involvement through the Stallions franchise and set up over the last decade or so, but they were always a powerful force. You're working the squad down there, and obviously you've seen in their in the open grades, some pretty decent talent coming through. And of the finals we witness each year at Waikato to go by, a ton of talent down there. And it's a timely move to break away from coastlines or Waikato Bay, but to just celebrate that Waikato tanga that we're witnessing this afternoon.
Yes, indeed. I mean, yeah, the senior competition down in Waikato, there's a lot of teams, unfortunately. But in saying that, Tanifro this year and Turongo Wairau really had more numbers at their trainings than they ever had. And that's a good sign that at least the clubs are still strong within that competition, as we see.
Oh, wow, I thought that was a try for the skipper. He gets up and he's surprised by the decision. He goes, "Go upstairs, please, Jeff."
Yeah.
No.
If I tell you, he dove over, was pretty close. If we had actually a super slow-mo replay, we probably could have seen whether he got it down or not, but still opportunity here for the South Island.
Well, credit to the ref, he's quick on his decision, but they've got to watch out here, Waikato, because big guys are coming to town. This is Faiva, only 5 metres away. Talented is Faitaua. Larry's been one of the best this afternoon for the South Island. And Oliver has his run halted. He's still only 6 or 7 metres away from the try line. Looks like it's going to be too hard to contain, and it's George Faiva who is the man with the ball, the big guy in jersey number 8. And he was at close range, pleased to come away with his first try of the afternoon. And so that pushes the scoreline out and makes say win by Waikato less likely. But he's got plenty of skill. Faiva, strong, been training hard. Lost 12 kgs or so, his coach was saying. So he must have been a pretty big unit if he's already dropped 12. For the Linwood Kiers, and turned out for the Bulls last year, George Faiva. Hard to stop from close range.
Yeah, indeed. And a disjointed Waikato line as well, coming hard off their trial line. He just hit that hole well. Mahaki was sort of left back a little bit on his haunches. Very, very hard to stop from that far out. And Jacob Lowe converts, adds the extras. So they've had to do it tough here, South Island. I'm sure they would have thought they might have been able to do it a little bit easier than this team. And Waikato has challenged them, and then obviously they've been their own worst enemies at some stages of South Island with a few base heroes. Ultimately, it's been a pretty good contest.
Yes, it has been. And what we don't want to see, as can sometimes happen, is young guys can dip their heads a little when they realise it's out of their mix. And so we just want Waikato to finish with the pride and mana that their name suggests, and fight right to the end. Be good for them to score another try, and to do that they need the ball. And so to get the ball, they need some enthusiasm on defence. And there he is once again. The big team is up to play the ball. Siaki, we haven't seen as much of him in this second 35 as we did through that first half, where he really scythed through gaps and put the pedal to the metal down left edge as we wind up back up on the inside. And here he is again, the imposing and constantly threatening Faiva. Down the short side they come. This is what I mean. You don't want to concede another try as Kofa Nonga charges towards the line. To ground he is. 10 metres out from the try line. Here comes South Island once again. They just want to put an exclamation mark on the effort here this afternoon. That is achieved skillfully. The Desiree Siaki out on the right edge. Beautifully collected the crossfield bomb. And as mentioned, they have just ramming home the fact that they are serious and they want to challenge for a finals in the Ruben Wiki Cup.
Yeah, they did it with class, and they did as well. That was really well Yeah, that would have been hard to stop for anybody, let alone a Waikato side who is a little bit down at the moment and obviously a little bit fatigued. But the crossfield bomb kick here, Jacob Lowe was joining on the spot. He actually set up the little break up the middle, which gave them a quick play the ball and got the roll on. And he's there again, chasing down. So really good effort. You can see the enthusiasm within the South Island side now. They all want to get a hold of the ball. They all want to make meters and try and cross over for some more points.
Well, explosive is how his coach Archie describes him. It's Siaki. I've seen his speed burn, and now, of course, that commitment to the high ball also. Great footy on show. And the South Island will travel home this evening. Very pleased with their efforts. They certainly took the Waikato Mana team seriously when they travelled here to Tamaki Makaurau, but in the end, just been a notch better than their opponents. And it's been a fine out for them here in round 3. 34 points to 10. Not long to go. 3 plays in both halves. One in each half for Waikato through Kyle Koreke and Portman Paul there scored about 8 minutes ago. But they've been very impressive here. The South Island, here's the restart.
Yeah, they've been really, I've been impressed with the variation that they've had throughout this game. Island boys, in the game that they had against Upper Central where they put 40 points on them, they were really strong to the middle. Their big boys marched up the field, little short plays and just got over the advantage line really quick. Upper Central just ended up running out of gas in the end. But in this game, they've looked to shift a little bit at wide. They've looked their back rows and their centres to find some gaps on the edges, and they've done really well. And I think going forward, coming up against some of the Auckland sides like Akarana and counties, it'll really help them have it being a little bit varied and being well-rounded in their football game.
Performance for you as we come towards the game?
I'm still really impressed with Jacob Lowe and the involvement that he has, but this, the back row that we mentioned at a half time, and Kofu Nonga, he's been terrific as well. He's got the ball, he's just been really dominant, finds front every time.
There's been a lot to like here this afternoon about the performance. Jaden Horgan gets involved, and here's another one coming through too, so icing on the cake. And pushes it out to, the embarrassing line now, but these tries have been conceded in the last 10 minutes, and quite obviously Waikato were fatigued, and another decent try today. So that's Jacob Lowe who was in there. Great effort there from the South Island. Good. And the ball was a perfect. And he runs, making it look easy. It's not the timing of the pass was vital, but he's certainly a player of great skill here, Jacob Lowe. And we'll be looking forward to seeing more of him in this competition.
Yeah, it was this match out there. Portman Paul was actually standing at centre. So when Jacob Lowe got the ball, it was pretty easy for him to run around a big prop forward who was standing out there trying to defend the line. It's forward for Jacob Lowe, who picked up a couple of goals today and then a try to finish it off. So, yeah, impressive.
And it balloons the scoreline, doesn't it? They were in touch. In fact, a bit of a chance there, but maybe the South Island boys never thought that. They just stepped it up a gear when they needed to. And there he is, the try scorer and converter. So big scoreline now, 40 points to 10 after a 16-6 lead into the halftime break. And there he is. Just flying, Jacob Lowe. He's had a good afternoon on track here at the Waikato. Hope you've enjoyed the action. Yes, there's going to be big scorelines. Remember, this is season 4 as well, as these young guys get themselves prepared for club land. and opting to just fish it off and to push it across the line. Caleb Murphy, solid victory here. His boys from the South Island, as mentioned, converting a 16-6 halftime scoreline into a 40-10 result. And they were impressive, especially in the back half of that second half here, Waitangi.
Yeah, the class go through towards the back end of that second half, indeed. And you know, this side had come off a win the week before, Waikato obviously having the bye, so for this challenge, South Island, they want to compete for this Ruben Wick Cup, and they're doing a good job of imposing themselves on this competition.
Well, they know they're up against the favourites traditionally have been Akana County's Manukau, but they look to me as though they've got the and the mix of skills across the park to challenge these highly fancied Auckland squads.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
The more they play, the better they get.
Yeah, and I suppose, you know, to have that skill set across the board in terms of the player talent that they have, out of the size of the players that they have as well, then, you know, that's always going to hold you in good stead going forward in this competition.
And of course, they've got no reason to hang their heads too low. The Waikato men, they play for their province proudly, and I'm sure that they will, from the experience of playing in the open competitions across. There's some wonderfully proud clubs down there, Turonga Waiwai and Whanewharaunga, Arawa Waki, Hamilton City Tigers. I mean, there's some good footy going on in Waikato, and obviously there's some good footy going on in the South Island also.
They definitely won the haka.
Well, they did. Yeah. They were unchallenged there in the haka. But, you know, we're seeing the rise of Southland and of Otago and now Canada, West Coast. So looking forward to seeing them going around. The South Island captain is joining us to analyse that performance across 70 minutes. This is Ethan Fight.
Yeah, that's true. Ethan, good win today, mate. That's 2 on the bounce for your boys. Where was it won?
Well, it was kind of a messy game. We got off to a good start, but around the middle of the game it just got a bit messy. I think the boys just showed a lot of effort, pushed through all the penalties and stuff we had to go through, but yeah, solid effort from the boys.
Look, it's a short comp. There are 3 rounds of 5 gone already. Are you happy with the way your team is tracking so far?
Yeah, I think we had a slow start to the campaign, but we're finally coming together as a team, getting our combos and stuff going, so yeah, I think we're going pretty good.
Okay, well, you're top of the table now, albeit you've still got your bye to come. A good chance for you to make a statement against Counties next week?
Well, we know Counties is going to be a tough game. Can't say much about it now, but we'll just go have a good week of training and hopefully come up firing against Counties next week.
Good on you, mate. Well done.
So, thank you. Thank you.
He seems to have a good head about him, doesn't he?
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, he's good head on. He can see the game well. Obviously, can read the game really well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that clash. It's going to be a really good one.
And of course, Waikato, well, hey, look, things they've got positive. They've still got games to play, and they haven't been working together as a team for long. So there were some promising moments there throughout the game. There is no doubt. Down in here from there, Captain Marky J hit it wider.
Mahaki J, it's a tough comp, isn't it, mate? But there are always positives. What were yours today?
The boys done really well. We got a good call from our coach just to keep grinding. We done that in the first half. It probably wasn't the best grind, but it was probably the best grind that we felt after the last game we had. But yeah, all we had to do is pretty much grind the whole. Got some tough boys out here for the other side of the island. But yeah.
Look, it's Waikato's first year in the Cup. What can you and your boys learn from teams and other players who have been here before?
Yes, first time this year. We just don't know where to find combinations in the team. We don't really drawn as a Waikato club, but usually it's a Waikato Bay, so to show mana for our Waikato side. But yeah, that's all we do, is show face. Yeah.
Thanks for your time, mate. I can see you're tired. Go and join your mates.
Cheers. Thank you.
Kia ora. And that's what we were touching on too. We're rebuilding the mana of Waikato. The name is what they will carry, and I'm telling you what, they're going to be better and better. I hope you enjoyed the game. In the end, a bit of a blowout with 3 late tries, but credit to the South Island too. They have the tough task of going head-to-head with Counties Manukau, who were very strong in their showing yesterday. Well, earlier in the day, there was the Central Vipers, and they lined up against the Akaran Falcons in our Wahine tournament. Women's Rugby League on. Let's have a look at the result there. And from the NZR Women's Premiership 2022, Counties Manukau 46-10. That was yesterday, and Akarana was solid with a 20-point win over the Mid-Central Vipers. So this is where the table sits after the first round, and perhaps a little surprised that it's the two Auckland-based teams, but take your hats off as well to Mid-Central, who put on some good efforts here this afternoon. We did likewise yesterday, but it's going to be an interesting premiership there. They play each other once, and then the two teams will play off in the grand final coming your way. I think it's Easter weekend. Well, let's have a look at how this all pans out as far as down to the 20s table is concerned. These are the results from yesterday. 56-6, big whopping victory for Counties Manukau. Central just couldn't go with them here at Waitakere. And then today, a 30-point scoreline for the South Island. Impressive in their defeat of Mana. So that means the South Island are at the top of the table for now. They have played an extra game, as you can see there, but that'll give them plenty of hope and lots to work on too. For a Counties Manukau game next week, which is going to be a tough one for the South Island. Archie Jacobs will be up for the challenge. Likewise, his talent skipper Ethan Faitau and their playmaker Oliver Laurie. Well, here they are, just warming down. Let's have a look at what's coming up today, and of course the NRL table. Worth a look. Touched on the fact that there was such an awesome game that was held last night. Well, here's the results so far this weekend. Sharks Dragons earlier on. Warriors get away. A sloppy victory, as some would describe it. Rabbitohs and Roosters played a very tough game, and good to see Joey Manu, Latrell Mitchell embracing after that game. Panthers and Knights at Bathurst, well, having a player sent off early in the first half or midway through didn't help the Knights' cause, but they showed plenty of character. The Panthers, in the end, too good. That was one heck of a game to the Storm and the Eels last night, with an extra time and a try scored, the most unlikely try scorers as well. Picked up 2 tries to get the Eels home in what was a very high-quality effort. It was 22 for the Titans at one stage, and the Canberra Raiders fought, clawed, scratched, and kicked their way back. And well, they didn't actually kick it back, but they managed to get the victory as well. Hey, Waitaki, here's the table set. You take it away, what?
Yeah, I mean, no surprises if you look at that top 8 at the top. You know, the Panthers, fantastic. Sharks, obviously, still to play today. But yes, your usual teams there at the top of that top 8, and there's bottom 8, and obviously the Royals move up a little bit after that. Their first victory of the year, which is fantastic. And there was still some good games of rugby league in the NRL coming up today.
Yeah, well, the Warriors got the Broncos next week too, so it'll be an interesting one. That, of course, is something of a local derby, isn't it? With the boys from Townsville down in Brisbane this afternoon. That should be a classic. And the Sea Eagles and the Bulldogs, plenty to play for the Sea Eagles, and Tommy Turbo and Dazzy will be wanting to do well. They've had a poor start to the season, and we know that they can be a lot better. It's great to have been able to bring you some live rugby. We've had a hell of a couple of years, haven't we? We've got a little bit of our action back on, thanks to New Zealand Rugby League, and of course thanks to Sky Sport for bringing the action. Dale, Waitangi and the gang out at West Auckland We wish you farewell and good evening from Waitakere Stadium out in Waitakere in Auckland's West. We'll catch you another time. Ngā mihi nui kia katoa.